Morning, we're out here at Deer Run Dairy here in southern Kewaunee County, and we're with Ducat here as we're starting to plant this field green into standing rye. And so, Derek, you want to tell us a little bit about the field and how this was set up last fall with the planting?
Yeah, so after we harvested the corn silage off of here, we no-till with a no-till drill. We no-tilled in about 25 pounds of rye, and then we did application of manure probably about 3 weeks later. I think this was planted probably first week of October. This is one of our later fields that we did. We have hydraulic downforce and we have roll cruiser closing wheels. It just depends. Usually the ground, when we no-till in a rye is pretty mellow, but there are occasions where we need to use a little more downforce just to make sure we keep the seed depth consistent. And we found with the furrow cruisers, there's a lot of different ones out there that'll do a decent job, but the smooth roll usually isn't quite enough in the no-till, with the conditions when you got a decent amount of rye on the field. So that's why we went with the furrow cruisers. We planted in the rye that was headed out already, and with the roll cleaners, they just kind of shifted off to the side enough so that when the disc openers come through, most of that's moved out of the way, and if we see any hairpinning, it may be in the top quarter inch, but we're usually planting about 2 to 2 1/4 inches deep, so we never really get any residue down by the seed. We usually do 2 applications of manure, whether they're both in fall or one in spring and fall, but we did find that usually in the early season we add more nitrogen just because the rye is holding a lot of it. So the rye is kind of used as our late season nitrogen. So we're putting anywhere from 7.5 gallons to 10 gallons of 28% or 32% down, and then we will come back early for our side dress, usually 4 inches tall, and we like to get our side dress nitrogen on early, and then we kind of rely on the breakdown of the rye for our late season nitrogen. We did a surface application with a dribble bar, and we've been able to, last fall we were actually getting closer to 10,000 gallons just with the conditions, and the rye had grown a little bit more in the fall of 20 than what we seen in 18 and 19. So we were actually able to bump our rate probably about 3,000 gallons from the previous years. So we're able to get it down to 2 applications to get the amount that's needed versus the 3 to 4 in 18 and 19, but we were struggling with so much rain that we were only allowed to put 5 to 6 to have it stay. I would say just be open-minded. Like everybody, we were a little skeptical when we started on how much we wanted to jump in, and we've done a lot of trials, and through the demo farms, there's a lot of trials going on, to help other people be more comfortable when they get into how much they want to do. We have another farm that we do custom work for, and since we've been doing this for the last 4 to 5 years, he trusted us and he went like 80% into rye cover crops without hesitation, just because he kind of seen how it's working for us, and we've been learning a few tweaks here, but it's actually a little more forgiving than what we thought it was going to be.
From a soil health standpoint, having all this biomass here, our soil health is improving, and I think you can attest to that. But at the same time, the water quality benefits that we have here, along the lake.
Yeah, and we've noticed a lot less erosion in spring, but also we get a lot more work done in fall. And the spring load is a lot less this year, just because we're basically just doing the planter. We don't have the tillage and the stone picking and all that. And then also once it's planted, if we get one of these 3-inch rains, I'm not very concerned about erosion and washouts that we had to be fixing the last previous years. So.